By this time next week, there's a very good chance I'll have met WordNerd Emma in person, and then just a few months after that, I will meet all of the other WordNerds in person, and that is all very, very, very exciting. Hey WordNerds, so you probably didn't notice, but Erin and I did a bit of a switch up this week, taking each other's days so that Erin could do a Reader's Nook and celebrate all things Frost release. So I am here on Saturday, and I almost forgot to film this. It is like the very end of the day, but I am here and we are going to talk about things. It's a little embarrassing how often I start filming without even knowing what I'm going to talk about yet, but it always works out. Alright, so for today's topic, I'm going to do a bit of a reading wrap-up. I won't talk about all of the books I read in August because so far there are 15 of them, and I've made a dent in a couple of other ones beyond that. So that is way too many books to talk about, but I do want to talk about a few of the really, really great books I've read this month. Alright, first up is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld, which happens to be our book club pick that we are talking about tomorrow right here on this channel, which you should definitely check out. This book is one of a kind. There are basically two different stories. One of them takes place around an author, and the other story is the story that that author is writing. It's really, really interesting. I won't go too far into it, but if you are at all interested in the publishing world and YA books, this is perfect. I've heard it described as basically a love letter to the YA publishing industry. So check this one out if you love books, which you do because you're here. Next up, I have Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. This was actually my first book by this author, and I really, really enjoyed it, so I'll absolutely be reading more from her sometime in the future. I think I already have one on my bookshelf somewhere. Anyways, this was a really interesting read. I have heard mixed reviews about it because it focuses a lot around social anxiety, and not everyone agreed with how it was handled, but I think it's fair to say that not everyone gets social anxiety the same way, so that wasn't really an issue for me. I found the writing really engaging, the characters were great, and the story itself kept you turning pages, and that's really all you can ask for. So if you're looking for just a contemporary read that isn't entirely romance-based, I would absolutely recommend Finding Audrey. These next books I don't have here with me because I did buy them on my Kindle, and that is To All the Boys I've Loved Before and P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. I read one right after the other. They were super quick, adorable, romance-based contemporary reads, and I absolutely, absolutely loved them. I didn't totally like where the romances ended up going, but that didn't matter at all because the characters were just so wonderful. There is a core sister story as well as a romance, and I loved every single minute of it. Really, if you're going to read To All the Boys I've Loved Before, then be prepared to just jump into P.S. I Still Love You because there is a bit of a cliffhanger, and really it's just one big story split into two books. Then next up, I have a book that Eric has already talked about, and that is For Love or Money by Susan K. Quinn. If you're looking for a writing or publishing book, I really cannot recommend this one enough, which is why you're hearing from two of us about how awesome it is. She does have another book called The Indie Author Survival Guide, which probably is a little better if you don't know anything about indie publishing yet, and that is where I'd recommend jumping in. But if you are writing on a regular basis, considering publishing books already, this book is very, very inspiring and incredibly practical, so I just kind of covered all of the bases that I needed. I did find it a little bit short. I wish there'd been more, but for the size of this book, there's a lot of really great information. Alright, so that's it for me today, but depending on how things go schedule-wise for me tomorrow, there's a very good chance you will be seeing me 3 days in a row. Tomorrow we've got our live chat talking about all things Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld, and then I am back again with a vlog on Monday because scheduling. So I will see you all then. Happy reading, happy writing.